Ever walked through a modern neighborhood and noticed those houses with the long, low roof lines, open floor plans, and big windows that seem to merge the inside with the outside? It feels so contemporary, right? Well, what if I told you that the blueprint for much of modern American living was drawn up over a century ago by one man? A man who wasn't just an architect, but a rebel, a visionary, and a genius who completely reshaped how we think about home. That man was Frank Lloyd Wright. And today, we're going to explore how he revolutionized American architecture and why, even now, we're still living in his world. Before Wright came along, American architecture, especially for the wealthy, was a bit of a copy-paste job from Europe. Think stuffy Victorian mansions with tiny, dark rooms, ornate decorations, and a rigid separation from nature. Houses were seen as boxers to keep the outside out. Wright looked at this and thought, we can do better. We can do something truly American asterisk. He wanted to create an architecture that was organic, that grew from the American landscape itself, particularly the vast, open prairies of the Midwest. This desire gave birth to his first major innovation, the Prairie School. Imagine a house that mirrors the horizon, right throughout the box. He lowered the roofs, extended the eaves, and created these strong, horizontal lines that made the houses seem to hug the ground. He called this breaking the box. Inside, he knocked down walls, creating the first open-plan living spaces. The living room flowed into the dining room, creating a sense of freedom and connection. He centered the home around a massive hearth or fireplace, which he saw as the heart of the family. He used natural, local materials like wood, stone, and brick, not just as building blocks, but as decorative elements in their own right. And the windows! He grouped them in long ribbons, flooding the interiors with natural light and framing views of the outdoors like paintings. A prairie house wasn't just a building. It was an experience, a shelter that was both grand and intimate and deeply connected to its environment. Homes like the Roby House in Chicago are perfect examples of this radical new vision. They didn't just look different. They felt different. But Wright wasn't a one-trick pony. Just as people thought they had him figured out, he reinvented himself. He developed a philosophy he called organic architecture. This wasn't just about using natural materials. It was the idea that a building should grow out of its site as if it were a plant. The form and function should be one, seamlessly integrated with the most breathtaking example of this, and perhaps the most famous private home in the world, is built in 1935 in rural Pennsylvania. Fallingwater isn't just near a waterfall. It's built over The house seems to defy gravity, with concrete terraces jutting out over the rushing water. The sound of the stream is a constant presence throughout the house. The stone for the walls was quarried right there on the property, making the building literally part of the landscape. It's a masterpiece of harmony between man, architecture, and nature. Fallingwater proved that a modern home could be a work of art, a profound statement about our place in the natural world. It became an instant icon and solidified Wright's status as a global architectural giant. Wright was also thinking about the average American. He believed everyone deserved a well-designed home, not just the wealthy. During the Great Depression, he created the Usonian house. This was his answer to affordable, beautiful housing. Usonian homes were smaller single-story structures without attics or basements to cut costs. They featured flat roofs with large overhangs, concrete slab foundations with radiant heating, a brand new idea at the time, and a continued emphasis on open living areas and a strong connection to the garden. He used prefabricated wall panels to simplify construction. Features we take for granted today, like the carport term, right? Himself coined were introduced in these homes. The Usonian house became the prototype for the mid-century modern ranch homes that would later dominate American suburbs in the 1950s and 60s. So, that classic suburban home. You can thank Frank Lloyd Wright for its DNA. So, why are we still copying him? Look around! The open concept living room, kitchen, and dining area in your home. That's right! The kitchen island that acts as a social hub. Wright's idea of the central hearth, Modernized, the obsession with indoor-outdoor living, with huge sliding glass doors and patios. Pure Wright. The use of natural materials like wood accents and stone feature walls to bring warmth and texture into our homes. Again, that's Wright's influence. He didn't just design buildings. He designed a lifestyle. He understood that a home is more than just shelter. It's a space that shapes our lives, our moods, and our family interactions. His principles of simplicity, harmony with nature, and human-centric design are timeless. It just makes sense. Architects and designers today continue to draw from his well of ideas. Whether they're designing a sprawling custom home or a compact urban apartment, his legacy isn't just in the 500-plus buildings he completed, many of which are now UNESCO World Heritage Sites. His true legacy is in the very air of modern design. He taught America to break free from old traditions and to create a style that was honest, functional, and deeply connected to its land and its people. He was a true original, whose revolutionary ideas have become so ingrained in our culture that we often forget they had to be invented in the first place. Frank Lloyd Wright gave us more than just buildings. He gave us a new way to live. And that is why, over 60 years after his death, we are all still, in some way, living in a house that Frank built. Thank you so much for joining me on this architectural journey today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories about the ideas that shape our world. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been to a Wright building? What do you think of his style? Until next time.